Buenos dias, muchachos, and welcome to the first day of online distance learning. I want to take some time today to talk about what learning online in your Spanish class would look like. But before we get to that, let's take a few minutes and talk about the context in which we find ourselves and some of the tools that are available for us to use. First of all, I don't plan on doing second drafts of anything like this, so this will be pretty unrehearsed, and um, there may be some pauses and while I gather my thoughts, but hopefully it'll still be informative to you and useful. I did, as I mentioned, want to kind of talk about the situation in which we find ourselves. Obviously, these are unprecedented changes. We've never seen anything like this as a community, as a school, as individuals, as a country, or as a world. Never in my lifetime have we been asked to change so many things so quickly. Many of these changes might seem like sacrifices for us. Now, this is not saying that it's not the first time in history that people have been asked to make sacrifices as a society. But in my lifetime, this is the first time, and it can be scary and it can be overwhelming. The unexpected nature of the uncertainty of what may come can certainly be frightening. One of the tools that I've used to help keep me in a positive space during all this is to practice gratitude, to be grateful for the things that I have. I'm thankful for being able to coordinate with other teachers as we put together these lesson plans. I'm thankful for the support that the administration at the school has given us by providing us with subscriptions and access to technology and web services that we didn't have before. I'm grateful that I have intelligent and patient students who I know are going to be successful in this new environment. I'm grateful for the people I call my support network. One of the things about this change is that I've actually been able to spend more time with those people that I call my friends and my family and my children, my girls. So there are some positives to this as well. It doesn't all have to be negative. One of the positives is it really does give us the opportunity to develop some new understandings, skills, to rearrange our priorities a little bit. And I hope that those things that we learned during this process will stick with us for after when we return to what normal will look like after the pandemic. One thing to keep in mind is we keep using the term social distancing, and to me that's a bit of a misnomer and misleading. Really, it's not social distancing, it's physical distancing. Social distancing is not social isolation. With a lot of the tools that have popped up online, Zoom meetings, webinars, and things of that sort, we are in many ways more connected on that social nature. If you start feeling isolated, please reach out to somebody. I find that phone calls are a lot more intimate than texts, etc., and emails. Video chats work wonderfully if you're missing somebody and you can't be there for them. Life will continue to go on. Um, I have friends whose parents are very ill at the end of their lives, and they're not able to fly out to California to see them. And so they're using FaceTime and things like that to stay connected. It's a challenging time, but we can get through it. As I mentioned, other generations have been asked to sacrifice a lot, and the one that keeps coming to my mind is World War II, the greatest American generation. As many of you know, my family and I took a trip to Europe over this past summer, and we spent the year before that learning about the geography, the history, and particularly focusing on World War II because both of my grandfathers were in that war, and we wanted to find out more about what they had done in Europe while we were there. One of the places we visited was Amsterdam, and we got to go to the Anne Frank house there. Now, I've been listening to the audiobook of her diary over the past few days since it's something I never got to do in high school. It is not part of my curriculum, and I highly recommend it to all of you if you get the opportunity. And there's a link on your screen right now that you can follow to find it on YouTube, or you can just go to YouTube and search for it. Now, not to compare the brutality, the violence of the Nazi regime to what it is that we are experiencing now. However, it does touch on many of the same themes that you might be feeling. Themes like hardship, things like uncertainty, um, feeling that things aren't fair. It also touches on some of the realities of life, like scarcity of goods, not being able to get everything that we're used to being able to get, the boredom that comes along with being stuck in a place and not being able to communicate with people outside of your home. And of course, the fear that came along with all that. But of course, underneath Anne Frank's story is one of resilience and one of being able to overcome those. Unfortunately, she did meet a tragic end during the war, but I'll leave that to you in case you haven't read the book and you want to get into it now. Take it easy. As we start talking about what we're going to be doing in class, don't rush to get it all done right away. We are going to make mistakes as we go, things are going to change, and we will learn from those mistakes. So, just a general overview of what the class is going to look like. For grading your hall passes, everyone for the third 9 weeks is going to get 100% on their hall pass. So don't worry about taking a picture and sending it to me or anything like that. The end of the 9 weeks will be on April 8th, 2020. And more of the warm ups that we're going to be doing in class are going to be graded for accuracy. So instead of being a warm up, you might consider them more like a class activity that's going to be graded for accuracy. So you'll want to spend some time checking your answers on those. Okay. For a typical week, we are going to do a GimKit Wednesday. We'll check in, and this will give us an opportunity to interact as a class and for me to check out on our progress. This will be done at the time of your regularly scheduled class. And I will send out a copy of the schedule in case you can't remember the bell schedule from school. On that same day, on Wednesday, I'm going to hold office hours from 11 to 12. So you can do this by joining a video meeting. There is a link there. Again, I will also send this out to you. Or there's a phone number you can dial and a PIN number, which will get you into that meeting. We can do it individually, just you and I. We could do more than two people. We can add other people in there if there's group questions. Okay? For Duolingo, nothing's going to change for Duolingo. 150 XP every Sunday before midnight. The one thing that is changing is I'm not going to be taking late assignments any longer. It will start to become way too confusing. So you need to be sure that you're getting them done on time. If you have any questions as to whether or not your scores are being recorded, take a screenshot and attach it to the classroom assignment. My goal is to get in a voice recording one time a week. So take one of your assignments and make you read it out loud and submit the voice recording. For the first week, that will be due for my Spanish 2 students on Friday. Communication, the best way to get a hold of me is still email or through Google Classroom comments. Using the remind, responding to the remind, it's hit and miss. Sometimes I get an alert, sometimes I don't, and I don't know when or why there's the change. But the best way, I will get an email and I will get an alert right away if you send something through the Google Classroom comments. Okay. How to prepare for learning. Find a quiet place in which to work. Find a place where you're comfortable and where you can get away from distractions. Try to use that same place as much as possible. Try and start to put a routine together, whether it's you get up and have breakfast and start to work, or whether you do it later in the day, however it works for you, but try to find a consistent routine and schedule. It helps if you do it at the same time or in the same order every day. Turn off the other distractions. As I mentioned, I've done a lot of coordinating with other teachers and with the IU and other providers for educators, and it's so easy to click off of the tab and go over and check my email or to click on my Twitter feed. Try to shut those tabs down. Focus on what's in front of you and try to find a way to get in the Spanish mood. We always did our menu at the beginning of class and then our Musica Madness for the last 2 weeks. Something to get you in the Spanish mood. So whether it's listening to one of the songs from Musica Madness or finding another song, but something to turn on that Spanish part of your brain will help you engage in this. Okay? I hope you found that informative. We will get through this and we will see each other again. Take care of yourselves and email me with any questions.